Lesson planning does not need to be overcomplicated, but it does need to be efficient, and it does need to have some thought and some pedagogical strategies placed into it. Now, you don't need to write detailed lesson plans unless, of course, it's asked of you by your admin, right? What you do need to, if you're not asked for detailed lesson plans, is to have some point form notes. But we're going to talk about 5 different things you want to include into your notes. Now, if time is not on your hand, on your side, on your hand, why not include steps 1 and step 3? Okay, 1 and 3. So let's get started. Number 1 is going to be your learning objectives. You want to think about the big picture. What content or what skills are you going to teach your children? Now, this is not just for you, but it also helps your students know what they're learning so that they're set up for success. Okay? Step 2 is the hook. So as we teach, many of us start to move away from the hook. Usually we do this only when we are student teaching, but as you become a seasoned teacher, it is important to remember to hook your kids into your lesson so that they are excited and want to learn more. This is important because it also helps with retention, and it helps with behavioral management, because when your kids are engaged, you're not going to see so much of behavior issues. Okay? So this doesn't have to be really big and momentous. What it does need to be is something small, like you can start off with a song, or you can start off with a joke about something that you're working on. Okay? Step number 3 is activities. You want to plan out 2 to 3 activities that they're going to participate in, that they're going to learn more about. And remember that you should think about differentiating your lessons so that you can meet the needs of various learners. Now, if this is too much for you, I do have lessons that you can just download for various different age groups, so you can download whatever works for you and whatever strategy, whatever placement your students are at. And I'll link to the store notes so you can take a look at it in the description. Now, the 4th strategy is assessment. You do need to have some form of assessment at the end so that you know if your lessons are on point and if your children are getting it. It also helps them know where they're at with their learning. So if this is a final, the last lesson, of course, this is going to be your summative lesson or summative assessment. But if this is one lesson in a series of units, one lesson in your unit, then this is your formative assessment. In this case, you could do something like an exit ticket, or you could do something where your kids are grouped or in pair shares and they're talking about what they've learned, and you can circulate to see what your students are saying. So again, this does not have to be too much. You don't want to be having to take papers home every single night to be marking, so it can be something as simple as just having a conversation to see where your children are at. Number 5 is closure. Most people end at step number 4, but we never get to that end part. The end part is what children are going to remember the most, right? They may forget everything else, but the end part, it recaps everything we've talked about, and it brings a little bit of fun. So if you don't know what to do as a fun end, why not recall your hook? That's simple, that's easy, but it'll engage kids right away, because they'll be like, oh, I remember, right? So that's what we want to get them doing about your lesson. So it's very simple. Again, 5 strategies: learning objectives, the hook, activities, assessment, and closure. If all else fails, remember learning objectives and what activities are they going to engage in. Those 2. Okay? If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact me at any time. In the meantime, thank you for joining me, and remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Take care, my friends.